No, they're not. They're really not. The isolation of the regime keeps them ethnically nationalistic by proxy, but that's just a sideshow. It has nothing to do with the actual reason for those policies. The actual reason is you grind down the population, absorb all of the wealth that you are making, and at least this small group of people lives very well, and then sort of the upper tiers of the military, they kind of have a good existence along with some of the limited internal mercantile class, and the other 90% of the population is miserable. They live in complete and abject poverty, and that's an uptick in their human development from like a decade ago, when it was even more abject and people were dying left and right of famine. If there's one place in the world where U.S. involvement could, properly performed, make a difference, and actually increase freedom in the world, yeah, it's probably North Korea. Iran? No, I'd leave Iran alone. I don't care about their centrifuges. They haven't even developed a test weapon. North Korea has already detonated 5 atomic weapons. One failed, the other 4 were apparently successful. They have managed to make them slightly larger over time. Eventually, they will get to the 100 kiloton weapon, some boosted stage. It is possible for them to do that, not long from now. And at some point, if we do nothing, if we don't work with China to get this solved or act unilaterally, as Trump suggests is on the table, China will get involved. North Korea won't exist anymore. It'll become a Chinese vassal. It'll become little more than a puppet, and it'll become essentially kind of a province of China. In which case, there will never be Korean unification. Now, I understand a lot of the people in South Korea probably don't want unification either. They're like, oh, we'd have millions of far leftists joining a largely conservative South Korean culture. That's problem 1. Problem 2, the human development there is so abysmal. We're going to have to pump huge amounts of money into it to actually make it, first world like the rest of the Korean Peninsula is. That's problem number 2. Problem number 3, there's a sort of a fragile relationship between the South Koreans and the Chinese, and they probably wouldn't like it very much if they had to share a border. So that's problem number 3. But what's the alternative? China moves in, replaces one puppet with another, makes it a mixed model sort of quasi-autonomous state or something. They're still sharing that border. They're still, over time, going to be doing business there and having to pump money into it probably, because China's not going to be willing to do that alone. The South Koreans probably want access to some of those minerals. The mineral wealth alone, from a strictly fiscal standpoint, it makes no sense for the South Koreans not to want to reunify the peninsula just to gain access to the industrial wealth of North Korea. The wealth that you make from that offsets most of the cost that you have to pump into North Korea to build the roads, to build the rails, to improve housing quality, and so forth, to bring the technology there, and probably, honestly, in some cases, to de-brainwash the population, which has been told everything outside of North Korea is an abysmal hellhole. North Korea is actually really great. Look how clean and how gleaming and fresh everything is. You step over the border, everything beyond that is like terrible, and just ignore that skyline in the distance. It's a propaganda city. It's not like our propaganda cities or something like that. It would require a huge amount of work. But Trump ultimately here is throwing a curveball to the Chinese. He's getting them on board. This is his sense of diplomacy. You tell them, yeah, we might act on our own. Fuck off. If you're not going to do anything about this situation or work with us to do so, we will move in. We have the ability to do so. And he's actually right. The United States could lay waste to North Korea. They wouldn't be able to fight back, and not against us. They could attack South Korea, maybe Japan. We've got THAAD systems there now. We've got all the Patriot anti-missile systems. We certainly have naval and land assets in the region. We would flatline their air force, and that's the only way, by the way, they could deliver an atomic weapon. Most of their missiles probably wouldn't even fire properly. Half the time they fire these off, they misfire. It's like they had that propaganda image of Kim Jong-un here. You remember after the next to last missile testing, and it showed him actually like